Hey everybody, it's Adam from Tested, and on a film like Aardman Animations' Early Man, everyone understands that the puppets that are animated in the film have specific characters and consistencies, but you might not realize that the sets themselves, the entire world that gets built for those puppets to move around in, also is a character in the film. And how those characters get developed is the job of Matt Perry and his art direction team, and we're going to find out how they do it. Matt, there seems to be so many different locations in this film. How do you go about designing such a large and complete world?
Well, we've got two main cultures in the film. That was our starting point. We've got the Bronze Age and we've got the Stone Age people. So straight away you try and shift away. You look at the characters because part of their design, you can sometimes draw stuff from them in itself to sort of aid your design. The Stone Age people are big and round and solid, and their caves are sort of big and solid, big round stones, and that sort of harks to them. And in the Bronze Age town itself, we wanted that to be this technological society who have come an empirical invading force, and they've come and their world, we sort of go, well, actually, for being that technical, they could live anywhere. So we actually put them in the most inhospitable, terrible place on Earth, and they can cope with that. So that was sort of where it started off, with a few sketches and some basic concept art. And so the main Bronze Age town is actually set with lava and volcanoes all around it. This was the first sort of sketch model we did for the town itself.
So the design of the city is actually both informed by and informs the story.
Absolutely. I mean, we are the sort of the background layer of storytelling, if you like. So you get the initial story, and then we're trying to layer that up as you go along. And on top of that, you know, bronze is their world, ore is what they're after. It's their greed to become mighty. Is what's brought them to the Stone Age, village, and that's why they're invading it to try.
The Stone Age village has bronze.
There's bronze ore all over their valley, but it means nothing to them, and they don't know what's going on when they're invaded. So everyone's taken back to this town, and this town is just so awesome compared to anything they've seen. I mean, we've totally egged it up. It's sort of a clash of cultures in a very non-real historical line. We're sort of mixing it all up a little bit. I mean, early on, I think I was saying our main evil character was quite Darth Vader-like, and he had a big metal helmet on. And at one stage, that was actually our starting point, with horns on his helmet. And actually, in the end, that went away. But the soldiers and everything for the Bronze Age kept these elements.
I see horns on this big chair here.
And absolutely everything, it's informed it. In fact, the arches for all the architecture have virtually the same profile as the original helmet. The horns on the back of the chair, again, that's the inverted arch. And so that has given us something really to grab all the way through. And whether it's in stonework, like this is stonework down here, or in the woodwork, we've sort of developed an architecture that will be consistent all the way through. So you go, yes, that's the Bronze Age.
Once you've got mock-ups that you're happy with, how does this process then get translated to, I'm assuming, a team of dozens of people to build any more dozens of sets?
Yes, I mean, the job of the art department is massive. It's many things. We've got the logistics we've got a construction team. They build the basic sets, and during our design process we have to make everything accessible to animators. In the end, they're like 50-foot giants, so it's no point having a set that's normal and they can't reach to get to do the animation.
So you have to engineer their ability
to
We have to
engineer it, whether the set is divided up into bases. We divide it up into bases that you can remove, and they can get in, and then you'd do plates and put the floor back in afterwards. So you've got to create access. Sometimes it's access hatches if it's right in the middle of something that's difficult to get to. Sometimes they have to climb up ladders and hang over things, but we try and make it as easy as possible, because they're going to spend hours and hours doing their thing. So we have to consider them all the way through.
That's the construction crew.
That's the construction, building the basic blocks, and that will include a little bit of texturing, doing the woodwork. It's the carpentry element of it, if you like. And then we've got a team of set dressers, which are probably our biggest team. They take those initial building blocks and they do the painting, they texture. Like all the woodwork, we brush the wood away and then we burn it to make it look old, so you get the rich textures coming out. I think one thing about stop frame animation that I think is brilliant is that it's real sets. And so all the textures are real, and we really work on that textural quality.
It's miniature, but you really are imbuing it with the age. And
it's got to feel totally natural. If you don't notice the backgrounds, actually we've done our bit. You know, you're just thinking about the story, and it's just a natural world to be in, but incredibly 3D.
But you don't just hand this mock-up to a construction crew and
No,
say,
I don't.
Build this.
What happens is it then goes to the drawing board stage. I'll start at a smaller scale, probably this sort of scale. And then we go to the drawing boards. Shall I show you the drawings?
By all means.
So we sort of start at a scale, probably a smallish scale. This is what we're going to go and have a little look at the moment. This is the stadium. So we start at small scale, and again, I'm just building the blocks, how wide things are going to be. Start thinking about how we would split the set as well. All of those things sort of in those early parts. You've got to sort of think practically that you're going to get to stuff. I mean, there's a point where I know I need to get to up here because there's going to be some guys banging some gongs on it, and on a giant gong here, so I have to think about how we can get to that. And then from that scale, we'll go up a scale and start thinking about the small detail. And then I start looking at the architectural details, what things could happen, what sort of spacing, what sort of proportions. I'm just going up scale each time.
Right.
What details I might have to start ordering, getting my prop makers to make. Ahead of the game, if you like, because there's obviously quite a lot of detail and stuff going into it.
It's fascinating how much this is both like a blueprint and also a drawing.
Well, actually, I find that the construction and the set dresses work better with pencil than with computer drawings, because there's a sense of texture and aging, and all of that is part of our world as well. Yeah. For it to sit in naturally, we want to be painting it, we want it weathered, we want it worn, you want the woodwork to be wibbly wobbly, it's sort of quite natural. So when you get into computer drawings, you lose all of that. So we tend to stick this way. And because nothing is made and everything is made from scratch, you just have to draw it. Everything has to be drawn up. So then we go from there. We would then go into proper full-scale details. So from there, I'm really sort of working out the sections how the woodwork all goes together, even if it appears like the woodwork's going together in the right way, and it's really just on a carcass.
And do you have a team of people drawing up these blueprints?
There's me and my other art director, Richard. So there's two of us do all of these. But we're literally drawing everything. I'll just quickly show you this. We were talking about the arch and the helmet, but actually that profile is on everything. These are prop drawings, and here's the arch again, but inverted into a 3D shape and spun again on these. Even the short fat pans. We've used it all the way through, basically, as our motif, and that really helps pull everything together.
It lends this deep cultural consistency to everything.
There's also a subliminal football that goes on everywhere.
I see. Right.
It's in the locks for the doors, everything about it. So when you arrive at the city, you don't know what this is.
Right.
That's been held back, so you can't tell what it's all about. But actually, once you've seen it, you look again and again, it's been subliminally there in the paving, in the absolutely everywhere. That's in amongst this helmet motif as well.
I also noticed that football involves both hexagons and pentagons, and you're playing around with each.
I tried to, but actually one of the main things was the main locking mechanism of the main door, and actually just to have it split in two and come together again, hexagons were really much easier. And then it seemed more primitive that the people, even though they were making a ball, had flattened it and made it a hexagon. So, yes, well spotted. That's good.
Can we go take a look at the set?
Yes, let's go and have a look.
Excellent. All right, Matt, so this is the set that you were showing me the drawings of. It's under construction. Can you tell me where we are in the world of Early Man?
So this is the stadium. This is sort of like the gladiatorial arena for the Bronze Age. It's sort of also their church. It's where the sacred game occurs. We're currently in preparation for a shot, which probably about a week away from actually completing this at the moment. We've done all the major construction works on it. The set dressers have been on, they've got some colour on it. We'll still bed this in, so there's a lot more painting and going into the finer details.
So you're looking at it and you're thinking how it's mixing together, how it's working?
Yes, we've got braziers that need to go on the top and in around it. There's some nighttime scenes around it, so we need to we'll CG the fire because it's not an easy thing to do, but we still have to create the light sources and everything and make sure all the things are made that
people look at a film like this and they think the characters are small, and so the sets are small, and while it is a miniature stadium, it's still a gargantuan set.
This is a biggie. I mean, the set itself is actually small even compared to the stadium on the interior. Once we're in the interior, it's so big we wouldn't be able to fit it in this studio. So we've contained the outside, a little bit of a magic trick to make it small on the outside, and it's going to be enormous on the inside. But a character is about the size of that bottle over there, maybe just a little less. So it gives you an idea of the scale, even in their world. It's one of our big sets.
And the animators will be walking around on the set, so it has to be rigid enough to support them.
It very depends how much of the character you see. If you only see above their waist and we don't see the floor, we'll take this all away and they'll just be on rigs. walking, sliding backwards and forwards and walking
right.
about. But where you see them, yes, they'll probably walk over this, or depending what's out of camera, we'll get them access right as close as they need to do their animation.
How many sets are in this film? How many sets are you responsible for?
Sets is, there's a lot of sets. There's about 35, 40 locations, of which a lot of those divvy up into lots of sets and are in shooting units.
Because they might be different pieces in the set depending on the
Exactly.
camera.
If you have a room set, usually that becomes 2 sets because you're looking in 2 directions usually. Although that can be various on a big interior, we might do. Sometimes there's just so many shots to do on a thing, we have to replicate it. So you might do more than one of those sets just because you won't get it shot on that set in the time.
So like any other film director, you have to art direct shot for shot for shot because everything's being custom done for each camera angle.
Yes, well, and the set, that sort of becomes into the realm of the set dressers. I'll set up the main look and the establishing shots and get okay from the director. After that, they will tweak things so they don't look like they're growing out of a character's head or something, you know. So the rest of it is then a flexible thing, shot to shot, yes.
Have you guys developed umpteen different versions of bronze and bronze type of
We've
finishes?
looked at basically the spray paints that we can get hold of easily and gone through and checked and weathered them and used them to see what we want. In truth, our director Nick wanted it to be blingy, so the bronze is really gold. Even though we did a lot of lovely bronze effects, and we put a bit of patina and stuff on things anyway, you'll see a little bit of green in and around the doors where we can, but actually he wanted this to blow the Stone Ages away, so you know he's gone bling and wants it quite gold and bright. So actually we've restrained ourselves from probably what you would normally do with bronze.
Totally understand. It's a beautiful, beautiful set. I don't know. I feel very at home looking at this kind of lovely, intricate work. Thank you for taking.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.